Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yep, what's good, original crew, man? We're back with another body cam by Whoa! Today, the body cam, the horror inside the hollow tree. Did you want to say it? Mm-mm. Body cam presented by?
I don't want to. Evil. You said I don't have enough energy.
I tried to come with a little bit more for you. Sauce it up a little bit more for you.
Maybe next time I have a little more.
Evil. Okay, just we always got to soften up these body cams, man, because they be a little too much.
Facts.
We all know that. But hey, with that being said, make sure y'all check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go if you want to first support. All you got to do is check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video,
like it with a thumbs up.
Man, let's get into it. Long one, but not too long, but it's still pretty much long one. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
I knew I must have done something wrong. And I found her in my house. She's kind of...
I am out at her house now. I just went in her home because I'm so worried about her.
This is 30-year-old Matthew Hoffman. He's just been arrested at one of the most bizarre crime scenes ever, filled with something so strange that you'll have to see it to believe it. After sitting in complete silence for hours, in approximately 3 seconds, you'll see him finally crack.
So you can make like any kind
Old
of...
Matthew Hoffman. He's just been arrested at one of the most bizarre crime scenes ever, filled with something...
Because these bags are filled with other things. Yeah. So it is made to drown out the sound. Like even in class and stuff, we used to, like professors used to always be like, hey, you want a cheap route at a soundproof, egg cartons. Throw the egg cartons up on the wall. It doesn't do the best of the job, but you know what I'm saying? It does a job a little bit to muffle the noise. Remember we toured the house one time? Mm-hmm. And the house had the soundproof bonus room, and you can literally tell how the audio drops when you went in. Mm-hmm. I love that room. I was like, bro, that joint sounds so perfect. But you couldn't hear nothing coming. My bad.
So strange that you'll have to see it to believe it. After sitting in complete silence for hours, in approximately 3 seconds, you'll see him finally crack and speak for the first time, admitting that a missing 13-year-old girl was found in his basement.
I can't tell you anything because I don't know.
But what he says next is completely unexpected. When Valerie Haythorne became concerned that something horrible had happened to her coworker after she failed to show up for work, she broke into her house only to find a disturbing scene. However, she would soon discover that her coworker wasn't the only one missing, and the truth of what happened was even more horrific than anyone even feared. The nightmare began on Wednesday, November 10th, 2010 in Apple Valley, Ohio, when 32-year-old Tina Herman, a reliable employee at the local Dairy Queen, missed a day of work. For most people, this wouldn't be a big deal. However, she also wasn't answering any texts or calls, all of which was highly unusual for her. Concerned for her well-being, Valerie Haythorne, Tina's manager, decided to drive by her house and make sure everything was okay. She saw Tina's truck was in the driveway with another unknown car and that the lights were on inside the house. But she still felt like something wasn't quite right. She called the police and told them that Tina hadn't shown up for work.
Sheriff Barber's office.
Hi, my name is Valerie Haythorne, and I work out at Dairy Queen. I'm the general manager out there. One of my employees did not show up for work this afternoon at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Which is totally uncharacteristic of her. She's one of my managers.
Okay.
I drove out by her house and went and knocked on the door and left her a note. She's not answering her phone, which is totally uncharacteristic. She's not answering her texts, and she is not at home, but her truck and her coat are in her house. Her truck's there and her coat is in the house. I'm very concerned about her.
What's her name?
Her name is Tina Herman, Herrmann.
Okay.
I know that she and her boyfriend are splitting up, and he can be a real jerk with her.
Okay. Do you have a phone number for her?
Oh, God, I do, but it's in my phone. I'd have to call you back.
Okay, that's fine. What was your name again?
My name is Valerie Haythorne.
Okay. Okay, I will have a deputy swing out there and check on her.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
Responding rather quickly, 2 different officers at different times showed up to check the residence, but when they knocked, no one came to the door. They left the matter unresolved. The next day, an officer called East Knox Schools to find out if Tina's 2 children, 13-year-old Sarah Maynard and 10-year-old Cody Maynard, had been in school. They were told that both children were in school on Wednesday but hadn't shown up on Thursday. Soon, a man named Ron Metcalf was also contacting the police because his girlfriend, 41-year-old Stephanie Sprang, appeared to be missing. She was Tina's best friend.
So much stuff being thrown at one time.
You the one trying to switch pins and all this. Over here trying to do color coordination and stuff and playing around the colors and stuff. That's your inner child trying to come up.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. This is a lot, though. So these are Tina kids. They didn't show up.
They didn't show up to school on Thursday.
And now another man is reporting that his... And then Tina already was going through a breakup with her boyfriend.
And the one and Stephanie, that's also missing, is Tina's friend.
And her husband, was it her husband reported?
Her significant other, because I can't remember.
Yeah.
Soon, a man named Ron Metcalf was also contacting the police because his girlfriend, 41-year-old Stephanie Sprang, appeared to be missing. She was Tina's best friend, and they'd been together before he lost contact with Stephanie. Ron had last spoken to Stephanie around 12:45 on Wednesday, but she hadn't answered any of his calls since then.
So right now we got 4 people missing. 2 adults and 2 kids.
At the moment.
Damn.
Around 4 p.m. on this same Thursday, Tina's determined boss, Valerie, decided to take matters into her own hands. When she got to Tina's house, she noticed that Tina's truck was now gone from the driveway, and only the unknown vehicle was left. This vehicle would turn out to belong to Stephanie. When her knocks on the front door went unanswered, Valerie decided to enter the house using an unlocked window on the back porch. Once inside, she saw blood in the bathroom and on the carpet, as well as splattered throughout the home.
The only problem, Valerie going in, and it is a crime scene. Now you kind of turn to the crime scene.
We're not knowing this is a crime scene. You're just concerned about your work. But
also,
as long as she didn't touch nothing.
But also,
but still,
a lawyer.
But hopefully she didn't touch.
A lawyer would be trying to. How we know she didn't? Her DNA. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
She immediately left the house and called the police.
This is Deputy Sylvia. I can help you.
Yes, this is Valerie Haythorne. I called in last night about Tina Herman being missing. I am out at her house now. I just went in her home because I'm so worried about her. There is blood everywhere.
Okay. Where are you at? I'm sorry. I just got back today, so.
Okay.
So you just need to kind of fill me in a little bit, okay?
Tina Herman works for me. She did not show up for work yesterday, and we have not been able to locate her or her children for it's been 24 hours now. I just spoke with...
No, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Okay.
I just need an address.
481 Kings Beach Drive in Apple Valley.
Okay. Just give us a few minutes, and we'll...
Small town. And I wonder what...
You gotta fill me
I wonder what the dispatch, like, where is it routing to? Is it routing to, like...
It sounds like it's routing directly to, like, the police station at the front.
Or is it routing to a different... You know what I'm saying? Because some, like, small towns, that, like... Say, for instance, back home, the other town, the calls go to our town for the other town. So, you get what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah, I got what you're saying. I got you.
So, say for instance, where Tina Turner from, there, it would route the calls to, and they have to, you know what I'm saying? But it still doesn't, because it's 5,000, population of 5,000. I kind of get the gist of that size of a town. It is small town, but it's just... But I do kind of agree with you that it does sound like it's routing to, like, directly to the police station and not like a 911 source, you know? Or is it a dispatch center?
Be en route, okay?
Okay,
Don't go back in the house.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in the driveway.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right, bye.
Bye.
By Friday, November 12th, the police were officially investigating 4 disappearances: Tina, Sarah, Cody, and Stephanie. The family dog, a miniature pinscher named Tanner, was also missing. The house was searched for clues, and the first discovery was very disheartening. The initial crime scene investigation concluded that the evidence indicated assault with bodily injury, including a large amount of blood and what looked like drag marks leading to the bathroom. There was also blood on the top of the basement stairs and in the basement. Something terrible had happened in Tina's home, but the exact extent of the horror still wasn't clear. The first suspect in the disappearances was the most obvious. Right at the beginning of the investigation, the police were told that Tina and her boyfriend were in the middle of a breakup, and her friends were worried that something may have happened between them. Gregory Borders, Tina's live-in boyfriend, who was not the father of her children, was interviewed immediately after he came to the police station voluntarily. In his statement, he admitted that he and Tina had split up, but they were still living in the house together until either of them could make other arrangements. Interestingly, Gregory normally has Wednesdays off from work, the day Tina went missing, but he decided to work overtime at Target Distribution in West Jefferson, Ohio, about 1.5 hours away. He worked from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m., but instead of coming back home, he said he stayed at a friend's house in Urbana, as they had plans to play golf in Bellefontaine the next day.
So, opposite direction. So, they live here. Damn, that's a far ways to be driving to work. Because he has to go back to Columbus, and there's the distribution center on the other side of Columbus. And then he decides to go...
A friend's house in Urbana.
Another complete opposite direction to Urbana. And this is on a Wednesday that you typically have your day off.
And this is ironically the same day that Tina, Sarah, Cody, Stephanie, vice versa.
Is he on, for one question, is he on camera clocking in and clocking out? Mm. Is he on camera any other time leaving? Mm-hmm. And then do we have a system where we have to track us being on task? Because say, for instance, when I used to work at Amazon, people used to clock in, leave, come back, clock on break, leave. I mean, like stay around, clock back in, and then come back home and clock out. I mean, go back when time shift time is over, clock out. Mm. And like you really used to do that before I started working there. My roommate worked there before. Yeah. They really used to just clock in, go back later, and clock out. And because you have hired somebody to do it as well. You have to look in that aspect of it. And your alibi would be, I was at work. And then after I got off, I went to a friend's house. Yeah. So this is yourself, because that's
Anna, as they had plans to play golf in Bellefontaine the next day. It all seemed very convenient, except that all of his time was accounted for, and his friend verified that they had dinner together and stayed in watching TV. Gregory received a call from his mother around noon on Thursday, and she told him that Tina was missing. But instead of panicking and coming to help look for her, he just assumed she took the day off and continued to golf. Gregory only realized his assumption couldn't have been more wrong when he finally returned to the home he shared with Tina. There he found that an investigation into the disappearances had already begun. After investigators cleared the crime scene, Gregory's own family arrived with bleach to clean up the blood in the house so that he wouldn't have to see it. With Gregory cleared, investigators had to move on to other leads.
No. To me, that's too early to even be wanting to clean up the crime scene. But who am I? I don't know how the process works. So.
The next development was on that same Thursday when Tina's vehicle was discovered abandoned in the campus parking lot of the nearby Kenyon College, with no sign of her or anyone else. But it was something at the crime scene back at Tina's house that soon became the most promising piece of evidence. Investigators found Walmart shopping bags containing 2 tarps and a box of heavy-duty trash bags. Now, that's not a good sign at all. But in this case, it was also the investigation's big break because, along with the shopping bags, they also found a receipt for the purchase. Detectives wasted no time requesting the surveillance footage from the Walmart in Mount Vernon.
Oh, yeah. You're fine. Oh, midnight.
Yeah, midnight. Oh, right after midnight. It's 11:11 now. And he paid in cash.
Detectives wasted no time requesting the surveillance footage from the Walmart in Mount Vernon and began scouring it for someone making the suspicious purchase of garbage bags and tarps, along with a turkey sandwich and a t-shirt which was seen on the receipt. It wasn't long before they found him, buying the items just after midnight on Thursday morning. Just to be sure they had the right guy, investigators obtained a copy of the receipt from the suspicious transaction and compared the product codes with the receipt they found at the crime scene, and they matched. The suspect was a white male, 25 to 40 years old, with brown hair, wearing a camouflage shirt and glasses. He was caught on the footage leaving the Walmart in a silver Toyota Yaris. Using still images of the suspect, the investigators used the Ohio Law Enforcement Gateway to search for any owners of a silver Toyota Yaris. It was then that they found a name, 30-year-old Matthew J. Hoffman. His vehicle appeared to match the surveillance video, and in his Ohio BMV photo, taken only 16 days before the Walmart footage was caught, he was even wearing a camouflage shirt similar to the one in the video. Obviously, the police knew they had to talk to him, but Matthew had two possible addresses. One belonged to his mother, Patricia Heglin, and was only 0.4 miles from Tina's home. The other was registered under his name and was only 10 miles from Tina's. If there was any doubt that Matthew was...
Oh. His mom home is literally right down the road from Tina's. I know it said 0.4 because I'm over here looking at the Walmart Dairy Queen. But the house is... His mother's house is literally in the same area. God.
under his name and was only 10 miles from Tina's. If there was any doubt that Matthew was the right guy, a search of the Knox County Sheriff's Office revealed that he had actually been stopped near where Tina's van was found within the same hour that it was discovered. An officer had stopped him to ask why he was in the area, but believing nothing was amiss, let him go. The sheriff's office also revealed that there was also a report of domestic violence between Matthew and his then-living girlfriend that occurred about 1 month before the disappearances. During an argument, Matthew allegedly choked his now ex-girlfriend. It was also discovered that following the breakup, Matthew had just recently been fired from his job as a tree trimmer for apparently making his supervisor uncomfortable. His ex-girlfriend was contacted, and she told the police that Matthew no longer lived at his mother's house and hadn't for several months. Finally, the police knew where to look for Tina, Sarah, Cody, and Stephanie. Once search warrants were obtained just 3 days after the disappearances, a SWAT team descended on Matthew's home. Because they weren't sure if Matthew had kidnapped the 4 people, they conducted a no-knock search and used a ram to force entry through the front door. They then threw in a flash grenade before they entered the home. What they found was more bizarre than they could have ever expected. Matthew was asleep on the sofa. He resisted a little by not showing his hands when asked, but he was quickly arrested and removed from the home. As soon as he was taken care of, officers noticed something particularly strange about the house. There were leaves everywhere. The living room floor was almost completely covered in a huge pile of leaves. At first, the police were worried that the leaf pile might be hiding something sinister, like a body. But after searching through, they were relieved to find that this wasn't the case. Still, things only got weirder from there. There were also bags of leaves lining every wall of the bathroom. After breaking down the door of a locked bedroom, police discovered what looked like a marijuana growing operation that was not active. In a freezer, they found 2 dead squirrels lying right next to a few red popsicles. But the biggest surprise was hidden in the basement. A cabinet was blocking the doorway, but once moved, an officer discovered Tina's daughter, Sarah Maynard, lying on a sleeping bag on top of a pile of leaves in Matthew's basement. Her feet and hands were bound with yellow rope and duct tape. Alongside her in the basement were more trash bags filled with leaves. Thankfully, Sarah appeared to be unharmed, but she was wearing a makeshift diaper made from a plastic bag. As officers approached her, she was very confused and told them that she was late for school and kept asking if they knew anything about what happened to her dog, Tanner. Sarah was likely in shock or possibly dissociating. When something very scary or traumatic happens, someone may dissociate to protect themselves. They may feel disconnected from what is really going on or as though they are in a dreamlike state because reality is too difficult to face. Have you ever gotten in the car to drive home, and then suddenly you realize you're almost back, but you don't remember the drive? That is a very mild form of dissociation.
I was like that the other day, just driving down the road, and I was like, do you ever catch yourself doing that?
I used to do it all the time coming home from work.
But now I still do it to this day, though.
Sometimes I do it.
Because it's the pattern. It's like a repeated pattern. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like just driving, and I catch myself, and I'm like, damn, I'm already over here? I'm like...
Sometimes I used to do it, but I definitely used to do it. I mean, sometimes I still do it, but I definitely used to do it coming home from work. When I used to drive home from work, and then I get home, I'm like, God, thank you, because I don't know how I got here. I really be like, I do not know how I got here.
But yeah, I still be catching myself. I'm like, because when you hit you just like, because you just going with the motion, bro. And I don't like that in life.
Then I'll pass up. I'm like, was that light green? I don't even know. At this point, I don't even remember.
There was no sign of Tina, Cody, or Stephanie anywhere in the home. Investigators took care to photograph the way Sarah was bound before they freed her and brought her upstairs to wait for medical attention. Sarah was then brought by EMS to Knox Community Hospital, where she was thoroughly examined and questioned. Despite the trauma she'd endured, she carefully outlined every detail of what had happened. She said that she and her brother had returned home from school on Wednesday and were attacked by Matthew as soon as they entered. She ran to her bedroom, but Matthew grabbed her and carried her down into the basement. There he found some rope that was already in the house and used it to tie her up. He then left her on the kitchen floor for a period of time. She wasn't sure how long before he put her into Stephanie's Jeep and drove her to the Howard Ballfield parking lot. He covered her with blankets and left her there. Matthew later returned and put her into another car and drove to his house. Once there, he bound her hands in work gloves and duct tape, had her gagged, and kept her locked in the bathroom in a closet before he put her into the basement. Sarah said that she believed Matthew had killed her mother, brother, Stephanie, and her dog, but she wasn't sure. She revealed that during the time Matthew had kidnapped her, about 4 days, he cut her finger with a knife, repeatedly assaulted her, and said that he was going to release her before Christmas, but he never told her what happened to her mother, brother, or Stephanie. After being medically cleared, Sarah was then released into her father's custody. Initially, after he was arrested, Matthew was placed under 24-hour watch after crying and threatening to harm himself. Eventually, though, he was brought in to speak with investigators. The following interrogations took place over 4 days and have never been analyzed before. The interrogator reads Matthew his Miranda rights, but he's almost completely unresponsive and barely even acknowledges the detectives.
Bottom paragraph says, my rights have been explained to me and I understand each of those rights. Having those rights in mind, I'm willing at this time to make a statement or answer questions. You understand that, Matt? Yeah. You understand?
It's possible that Matthew is in a catatonic state, which can occur with some psychological disorders, including schizophrenia. When the person is experiencing catatonia, they may be completely unresponsive with their body, like Matthew is now. It's also possible that this is his way of coping with the stress of the interrogation. Someone who is under extreme stress may limit their movements in an effort to go unnoticed, also known as freezing. Of course, it's also the possibility that he's refusing to cooperate to intentionally avoid having to answer questions.
You want to talk to one of us alone, or do you want us both in here, or you comfortable with both of us being here? Matt?
Soon they start to get creative in the hopes that Matthew will begin talking.
Hey, Matt, can I ask you a question? You look familiar. You look familiar to me. You work out at the gym?
Though Matthew remains silent, he finally reacts. But what he does is one of the most bizarre things we have ever seen in an interrogation.
You know, other people, there's family members out there of other people, and all they want is closure. That's all they want. They've been up for days like you and I have, you know? Heart hurts. I don't understand sign language, man.
Matthew's hand signals seem to say that his heart is broken. This is, of course, not real sign language. However, it's certainly odd that he's using hand signals to communicate, but this could be an indication of Matthew's childlike nature.
What do you want from us? Tell me what you want from us.
Matthew sits with his eyes closed as the detectives try relentlessly to get him to start talking.
You want a couple of minutes here just to kind of think about all this? Because I know it's overwhelming for you right now.
I'm beginning to think Matt don't care.
He cares.
The detectives are speaking as if Matthew isn't in the room. They're likely trying to see if something they say strikes a chord and makes him want to chime in to correct their assumptions about him. When this attempt doesn't work, the interrogator tries another, more confrontational approach.
Somebody will cry today. If I make a phone call after this interview, somebody will cry. But I guarantee you, some of that cry will be joy. Because they know where Cody is. They know where Tina is. They know where Stephanie is. I know they'll cry for somewhat joy, Matt, because I've already heard it with Sarah.
Matthew tightens one hand into a fist and then covers it with the other hand, a sign that he's feeling very anxious.
What I'm probably going to do, Matt, is leave this room, and when I get away from these guys, probably cry like a baby. Because it's working on me, man. Big time.
Finally, after sitting in silence and almost completely unresponsive for over 4 hours, Matthew cracks.
4 hours?
I can't tell you anything because I don't know. You don't know? I knew I must have done something wrong. And I found her in my house. She caught up. And so I took care of her.
Psychopaths often try to paint themselves as the good guy or the hero like Matthew did here when claiming that he took care of Sarah. This is a sign of antisocial personality disorder, also known as ASPD. However, when someone with psychopathy does something horrible, they will sometimes pick out one positive thing they did in the midst of all the horrible things in order to claim that they are good. What Matthew claims he had done to, in his words, take care of Sarah, was feed her, let her watch the movie Iron Man, and allow her to borrow his copy of the book Treasure Island.
I don't really know anything else. So I was trying to figure out what had happened.
Matthew's claim to not know what he did is one of the mysteries with psychopaths and people with severe personality disorders, because they sometimes dissociate and can't recall their actions. This is particularly true for the very mentally ill psychopaths, such as someone with psychopathy mixed with psychosis. Other times, their supposed inability to remember is just their way of manipulating and pretending that they weren't aware of what they were doing.
At what point did you find her tied up in your house? Thursday. Did you ask her? Did you speak with her about, what happened? How did you get here? Anything like that?
She said I'd done it. I figured I had done something I didn't know. I just could try to put pieces together.
It still isn't clear what happened to Tina, Cody, or Stephanie, or where they are. However, given the evidence of blood found in the home and Sarah's testimony that she believed Matthew killed them, investigators weren't hopeful that they would be found alive.
Did you recognize her as someone that you had seen before? And, did you realize that this is a person you'd seen before that now was in your house? Or
I don't know.
Didn't make that connection? You don't know her? I mean, I'm just asking because they were the pictures on the camera and they weren't taken, at the time that this happened. So I was just wondering if you... Did you realize that this is a person you'd seen before that now was in your house? Or
I don't know.
Didn't make that connection? You don't know her? I mean, I'm just asking because they were the pictures on the camera and
They were pictures in the camera. They weren't taken at the time that this happened. Talking about Sarah.
I'm assuming, yeah.
So he has previous photos of Sarah. Because what makes her the one you want to save out of everybody? Because you've been we trying to play this game. But that's what it is, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no fucking wrong with this, man. So it gives, because we've seen stuff like this happen before. What was that one case where the girl got kidnapped and he went in the house and he basically killed her whole family, took her back to his house, and she was able to eventually Escape. You know what I'm talking about? We did a video. I can't think of that girl name. And it was snowing, and he finally.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And he used to keep her under his bed. And finally, one day he decided he left the house, and she ran out the house and running. But it gives me very much so that situation.
They weren't taken, at the time that this happened. So I was just wondering if in other words, if it was someone you knew, and then, wow, how did you get near my house? Because she said that she asked you a couple of times. Do you remember that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Childlike behavior is very typical of people with personality disorders, including ASPD. However, Matthew is extremely childlike. When under stress, psychopaths and many people with ASPD often regress to childlike behaviors, but they often do so knowingly as a way to attempt to manipulate their way out of consequences. A female officer, believed to be a psychologist, enters the room and begins speaking with Matthew one-on-one. She set up the room differently so they're more side by side instead of across the table, which doesn't allow Matthew to have the barrier of the table between them, keeping his distance and guard up.
I think what we were talking about earlier and kind of feeling alone, and that's definitely how I felt when I went to Chicago. I knew no one there. I was the only one out of my class sent there.
The interviewer is trying to build rapport with Matthew and trying to make it seem like she can relate to him, possibly feeling lonely in a city where you don't know anyone. This is to make him feel less judged and to start moving him closer to a confession.
But you had a purpose.
Yeah.
Ikigai.
What's that?
Japanese.
Oh.
Ikigai. Sense of purpose.
He latches onto her comment about a lack of purpose. She'll now likely use this as the theme for why he did what he did, as he was receptive to it. This is a step in the read technique of theme development. When developing themes, the interrogator speaks in a soft, soothing voice to appear non-threatening and to lull the suspect into a false sense of security.
So I did go out to Colorado after I graduated high school.
Did you?
That's where I got into my first trouble. I did something really bad. I pieced it together. I figured it out. And I went and turned myself in out of my first prison time.
But you went out there with a sense of purpose.
It is clear he likes playing the victim role, and the interviewer will allow him to seem like a victim to get him to confess. But admitting that he had done something very bad in the past, it shows that he has some awareness of what bad is. So if there is any doubt that he's insane, this could show that he's likely not entirely insane.
I guess I burned down a condo. I did burn down a condo.
In 2001, Matthew was convicted of arson, burglary, assault, and motor vehicle theft while in Routt County, Colorado. It's believed that he set fire to a vacation condo to hide any evidence that he'd been staying there without the owner's permission. He was eventually released from prison and paroled back to Ohio.
It's okay. You didn't want to hurt anybody. You just wanted a release.
The investigator now offers a justification for his actions, saying he just wanted a release and didn't want to hurt anybody. This is another read technique used to make him feel more at ease with admitting to the things he did, as she's proposed a more morally acceptable reason for his actions that he can latch onto.
I don't want to hurt anyone. It's not me.
Again, her tactic works, and he repeats what she said.
You know what antipsychotic medication is? I mean, it doesn't... I read about it. It doesn't directly address the problem. It's just powerful. It tranquilizers. I'll take it if I have to. I don't want to be a teacher.
It's interesting that Matthew agrees he will take an antipsychotic medication if he has to. It appears that he may be trying to claim that he is psychotic or was acting due to psychosis when he committed the crime.
Crazy.
Why do you think that?
I must have done something bad. I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
Wow, that can you work through.
Again, he's playing innocent and claiming to be unaware of his actions. This is not a believable tactic. And hearing this, it's easy to assume that he's lying and manipulating or playing crazy to try to get out of the consequences he knows he'll be facing. While this could be the case, it's also possible that Matthew has gotten used to dissociating throughout his life, meaning that he copes with whatever unpleasant or uncomfortable feelings he experiences after doing something bad by completely erasing it from memory. This isn't a totally conscious process, of course, because people can't consciously decide to erase something from memory. However, this type of dissociation is something a person can learn to do as early as childhood, particularly people who have gone through severe abuse during childhood. In addition, detectives found an extremely large number of leaves inside Matthew's home. This is certainly unusual and may be a sign of a severe mental health disorder. One of the symptoms of schizophrenia is delusions, in which the person may hold strange or odd beliefs. Although Matthew has made no mention of the leaves, it's possible that he holds some type of delusion involving leaves. The sheer amount of time that it would have taken him to gather that many leaves and bring inside lends support to the theory that he likely has a very strongly held belief about the leaves.
Okay, potentially, I can't, guarantee these things. What facility you might go to, where you might go, what might happen, and the attitude that the people in the system are going to take toward you can be affected by the fact that you decided at this point to do the right thing.
The male detective takes a very different approach with Matthew than the previous interrogator. He's much louder, more aggressive, and more direct.
From the moment we broke into your house, found you and found her in the basement, you owned it all. You own it all. Okay? You can't do anything about the part of it you own.
Matthew clearly doesn't respond well to the detective's assertive and somewhat aggressive approach. It appears that he's covering his ears with his arms, possibly trying to block out what the detective is saying. He's silent again, and the detective allows the silence to linger in the hopes that he will make a decision as to whether he will confess. The detective mirrors Matthew's posture and body language here. Although this can be viewed as a way of invading Matthew's personal space, it could also be the detective's way of trying to connect with Matthew. The intensity appeared to cause Matthew to become more distressed. However, by mirroring his body language, the detective is relaying a message of understanding.
And if you didn't have a plan and you just put him in the Jeep and you just pulled over somewhere, there's weeds in the Jeep, so it looks like you probably pulled into a field somewhere and that's how the weeds got on there. If it's a random place, give me an idea where street it might be on or off of. But you gotta be able to narrow the field down for the whole county. And the dumping itself has to be less traumatic to recall than all the stuff that went on in the bathroom. Just tell us where to look. And I will stand up in court and say that you did. And I will go to Sarah myself and tell her that you did.
The detective returns to this theme that has Matthew looking like a good guy. He even uses Sarah seeing him as helpful as a bargaining chip.
Okay, I don't want you to get upset, but the reason we're driving around, and we don't have to drive around. Okay, remember I came in here saying that I didn't want to drive around unless there was some value in it. Okay? Right, that's the whole point, is will you see something that will, prompt your memory? But I want to talk about what the possibilities would be for that location. Okay? In other words, not across the street. You're not going to put bodies across the street. What would you do, from there? In terms of a place you might go.
Matt, we're not going to be mad at you if you don't know exactly. Your memory is not exact. Because you have said that you want to know. You're afraid to find out. But there's a part of you that wants to know. If it doesn't happen, genuinely, then it doesn't happen. I'm not going to be upset.
Matthew seems to like the attention and pampering he's receiving from the detective and the psychologist, who are treating him with care and catering to him as they try to locate the bodies. The detective almost sounds father-like as he's talking to Matthew about doing the right thing. almost like a mentor, and the psychologist takes on a nurturing maternal role in her soft-spoken and calm way. Matthew's severe emotional immaturity appears to have elicited this sort of care from them.
Drive you, let you see it, and kind of see what happens. I mean, I may ask you, or Chris may ask you an occasional question. But that's all. That's all we're trying to do. Okay? Yeah, put your jacket on. We're going to have to put a pair of cuffs on you. What do I need a fix, right? Sure.
Or water, do you like water better?
Just go take a water too.
Yeah. All right, do you want to go to the bathroom before we go? Are you good?
I think I should go.
Okay. I'm going to walk down with you. Okay. This way.
Whether or not the police truly believe Matthew's claims that he can't remember what happened to the 3 missing people, they took him on a ride in an effort to refresh his memory. He didn't reveal anything. It's possible that Matthew simply wanted to escape from the interrogation room, and this car ride was a break for him from the intense questioning. The next day, Matthew was once again brought back into the interrogation room. This is now day 4. The detective removes Matthew's handcuffs. This is a gesture of goodwill in the hopes that he will appreciate it and be more cooperative with them.
Does that need to go in the microwave, or is it okay? Okay.
Giving him food and coffee are gestures of friendliness they hope he will reciprocate. The detective even offers to heat up his food again, trying to build rapport and seem like an ally to Matthew. He's just come out of his jail cell and may be even more receptive to the outside comforts they're providing him. He doesn't say thank you or appear appreciative, which further displays his antisocial personality.
You guys just starting your day?
Pretty much. It's about 9:30. A little bit earlier. You normally an early riser, or do you stay up late and sleep in?
I get up early.
This is just to get him comfortable with them again and get him talking. He clearly prefers to sit in silence, so this is essential for someone like this.
What are your thoughts today after things we talked about and kind of left it last night with you feeling like you wanted to do what you could to help?
His behavior could point to severe trauma and/or mental defect. The detective realizes he must take some sort of action to get anywhere with Matthew and asks the other interrogator to step out.
Chris, could you give us a couple minutes? Okay. Could you pass the train camera? Okay. That's fine. I'll put it for you, but I want to give you what you asked for.
Changing the dynamic in the room can sometimes prove useful. The detective slides his chair closer to Matthew, invading his personal space to try to snap him out of the daze he's in.
This is not unusual for us. I mean, a lot of times somebody wants to talk to one or the other. She won't take it personally.
Matthew shifts in his chair, positioning himself slightly away from the detective. This may be a sign that he's trying to decrease his feelings of discomfort about the detective sitting so close to him.
It's more than one time that I've advocated for the person that I'm working with as a result of how things have gone. So when I tell you that, this is what I'll do or what I can't do.
When the detective states that he has in previous cases advocated for the suspect, Matthew quickly looks up and makes eye contact with the detective for the first time since he's been in there. This statement has piqued his interest and attention, and the detective should take note of this and continue to use this theme of him being able to help him.
What is that thing? Can you answer?
This thing here?
On the floor. Well, yeah, it's connected.
Well, that's all. That's just a surge, a converter that converts electrical current into a current that computer hooks up. And that computer is a CVSA, which is a type of computer that analyzes voice stress. It's kind of one of the newer types of lie detectors that they use.
So isn't that a microphone?
No.
Despite Matthew appearing to be in a daze the majority of the time, this question about a microphone shows that he's aware of his surroundings and he likely has some sort of plan, which is why he's wondering if he's being recorded. He's likely not as lost and distraught as he's presented to be.
What's the thing in your ankle?
That's my gun. Just leave it.
Matthew continues to delay because he keeps discussing things that aren't relevant and then asks to use the bathroom.
This coffee's kind of getting me. Can we go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
All right.
No, you're not going to try and overpower me and take my gun or anything, right?
No, you might. If you want to, you can give it to someone.
Okay.
Let's go.
The detective is careful to not turn his back on Matthew, just in case he snaps and tries to attack him, especially after the comments about the gun.
You can even put the ghost on if you want.
Okay. Do we even know what it was?
Talking about the gun and offering to have the cuffs put back on is a very unusual interaction, to say the least. It could be that Matthew might be aware of his own impulsivity. Perhaps he doesn't trust what he might do in a moment of impulse. The detective took Matthew to a restroom just down the hall from the interview room.
I'm sorry. I feel like I failed you. I'm sorry if I let you down.
The detective is saying this as a tactic to essentially place the blame on himself for Matthew not being cooperative to see if that has any positive outcomes.
I feel myself.
I've let you down. I've let Sarah down. I've let everybody down.
What? Sarah got recovered.
The detective may be trying to appeal to Matthew's feelings about Sarah. Earlier in the interrogation, he oddly stated that he took care of her.
And I found her in my house. She's tied up. And so I took care of her.
The detective may be hoping that Matthew feels some shred of empathy for Sarah, so he'll provide them with the location of the other victims for Sarah's sake.
Everything I've told you has been the truth, but I'm being truthful with you now. I mean, it's not just about you, Matthew. It's about her. I mean, like I said, I think I failed you. I failed her. Law enforcement, hey, I failed them before. But I mean, that's the package.
Did you hear any of our conversation?
No. In a bathroom and here now. Once I left, I didn't hear anything.
Do you want to tell her?
No, I was wondering if maybe she had been listening with me. Listening to voices.
You wanted privacy, we gave you privacy.
So, are you probably not going to keep that private?
Matthew revealed something to the detective in the bathroom that he's concerned the female interviewer will find out about. He may feel embarrassed for her to know either because she is a female or because he still wants to appear like the victim as she was previously treating him.
Our conversation, like, is that's
The only thing, my intention, I'll be honest with you right now, is just to tell Chris what we said. Okay? But I will tell you this, okay? If you tell us, I will keep that private.
The detective quickly realizes he now has some leverage over Matthew and uses it to create a quid pro quo scenario. Matthew is about to unveil a disturbing and unexpected revelation.
So I had a really horrific dream last night. It was disgusting. Getting a knot in my stomach. Yeah. So awful. I saw some really disgusting stuff in the big garbage can. And I was hoping I could make some excuse for you guys to kill me.
From what I've heard from their family, that's something that would just hurt them more. And hurting yourself's not going to help anybody, including yourself.
Matt said that the dream dealt with the food processing plant, where they chopped food up, and that there were garbage bags there that then he opened or looked in garbage can or bag, not sure which, and he saw, body parts, chopped up stuff. And I'm not sure what to think now in terms of whether he knows or doesn't know. He doesn't appear to have any concerns about the consequences in terms of trials and courts.
The detective reiterates Matthew's story as if he believes his version of events, but then makes it clear he's holding back additional information. This is to try to get Matthew to disclose the location of the bodies.
Matt, in terms of this deal I'm offering you, okay, I mean, so to speak, okay, what can you tell us what you do remember? I mean, my concern again is with the location. Can you tell us what you do remember?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I thought you should want me to talk about the offer you made to me, what you wanted to have accomplished as a result of the day, the trip.
I figure that's...
You figure you already revealed that? I mean, in other words, you did ask me earlier, am I going to say that? And I said that, I would not say that. I would not give... See, what I'm figuring is that here's the I'll be right back to take over this, but I just want to throw something away. I thought that what your concern was that I didn't tell him about the desire to have us shoot you escaping.
Matthew's secret is that he wants to be shot by the detective. The detective agrees to keep this a secret so that he may be able to carry it out. This is all just a ploy to try to get Matthew to disclose the body's location, as he clearly cannot agree to kill him.
And that because if I shared that then they would go to extreme measures to keep that from happening.
There's no trust on either side. There's no way of proving that. There's no way you can just shoot me before everyone knows.
I know that.
If I try to escape, then I would shoot my reason.
But the bottom line is, what does all this have to do with not telling us where they are? How does that hurt things?
I don't understand.
Well, help me understand.
It's hard to tell if Matthew actually believes his claim about his dream or if all of this is just him buying time or trying to play crazy.
And nobody thinks that the person in this position that comes to this point does this through their own fault. I'm not going to try and figure it all out, but I mean, I know, your dad and mom split up when you were 3. You went through a life without a dad. That's a major impact. It affects a lot of people in a lot of really negative ways. I know your dad was a 40-year firefighter and you set some fires, okay?
His obsession with leaves and the fact that he accumulates a large collection of leaves in his home could be his way of coping with the abandonment issues related to his father, who reportedly was a firefighter. It's possible that setting fire to leaves, and thus his obsession with leaves, could be related to his hatred for his father or his desire for his father to notice him. People who feel lonely, hopeless, or empty inside often derive comfort from material objects because they might not be able to get the love and attention they want from people in their lives. As a result, they turn to obsession and fixations with things in order to feel less alone. In Matthew's case, accumulating large quantities of leaves may have brought him a feeling of fullness and comfort. However, it's also possible that Matthew may have some sort of mental illness and has some strange beliefs about leaves. One of the symptoms of schizophrenia is delusions. Yet Matthew doesn't seem to have schizophrenia, as he doesn't appear to be in a psychotic episode during these interrogations. When he does speak, he sounds clear, coherent, and he's aware of what's happening around him. He doesn't appear to be responding to any internal stimuli, as you might expect with someone who is schizophrenic. To our knowledge, Matthew was never diagnosed with schizophrenia.
With all honesty, Matt, I say this very genuinely. You are sitting in self-pity, and that doesn't even help you.
The female detective calls Matthew out for his self-pity and victim mentality. This is a sign that they are done using this theme to get him to speak, since allowing him to play the role of the victim has not produced any answers. She then directs him to think about the future and how he'll be viewed in the hopes this will get him talking.
Talk to you guys, it's only myself. I don't have any life left.
Well, I disagree on that. I think you do, and you can.
Matthew is intelligent and knows that if he tells them where the bodies are, there's no guarantee of any real benefit to him. The most likely way to get him to give up this information would be in exchange for a plea deal, such as removing the death penalty. However, given Matthew's expression of wanting to be shot, that may not be motivating to him.
They're pushing, the prosecutors are pushing to have you come and have a hearing, and this is it. This is your last chance to talk to us, literally. And
This is a lawyer present.
that's what they're pushing for. You're saying, you're saying you're still willing to talk to us without an attorney, but that's what's being done now as far as pushing for that. So this is your last chance right now to talk to us.
They'll come and make the decisions for you.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. They'll take that away. They make it sound like it's your freedom to go and give you.
The detective knows that it's very important for Matthew to feel like he is the one in control and he is calling the shots. He makes it sound like if he gets a lawyer, the lawyer will be controlling him. He knows Matthew won't like feeling powerless.
And the lack of immediate pressure can also take some of the other people that are, being affected by it. Sorry about that.
Okay. We're done. We apparently are told we are done. Keep everything we said in mind for you. Think about it and think about what you can do for yourself after you talk to an attorney.
Here are my pads. Man, no, they're gonna take you back down to jail because for security reasons the attorneys can't be with you here, okay? Remember, public defenders have their own interests sometimes in this, so, use your head. Okay, you're a smart guy. Take care of yourself. I don't know if I have a chance we'll talk again.
I hope we do. I hope we can talk again. They're here.
The detective ends things on a friendly note, calling him Buddy, and touches him on the shoulder as a last-ditch effort to leave a positive impression. This is in the hopes that he may at some point change his mind and confess to the location of the bodies. The big question here is Matthew's strange behavior in the interrogation all an act either for pity, attention, or a ploy to get an insanity defense? Or is what we are seeing actually the real Matthew? Matthew later revealed that he made up the entire story about his dream about the food processing plant, where he opened a trash bag and saw cut-up body parts. He admitted that it was all a lie to try and get himself killed by the police, because he didn't want to be injected with Thorazine, an antipsychotic medication, for the rest of his life. He said he still didn't remember where the bodies were. In a written confession, Matthew admitted even more, telling the investigators that he'd been staking out Tina's home the night before the attack, sleeping in the woods across the street. The next morning, he watched as everyone left and then snuck into the home through the garage. His plan had been to burglarize the home and sneak away without anyone seeing him. He chose Tina's house because there weren't any close neighbors, and the door was often left ajar. However, Tina and Stephanie returned and caught Matthew in the act. He claimed he ambushed them in a panic. He wrote, "I was in a total state of shock. I wandered around the house, slowly coming to realization of what I'd done and how bad it was. During this time, I killed Tina's dog because it would not stop barking. It only got worse because then Sarah and Cody returned home. Matthew attacked and killed Cody before tying up Sarah." He wrote, "I did not enter the house to kill those people. I did not know a single one of them." Shortly after killing Tina, Stephanie, and Cody, Matthew drove to Gambier to collect gas cans from his own vehicle with the intention of burning down Tina's house. It was then that he was stopped by an officer who eventually let him go. He gave up his plan to burn down the house and instead returned to his own, where he built a campfire, burned his shoes, and drank a bottle of wine. On November 18th, Matthew finally cracked and agreed to show investigators the location of Tina, Cody, and Stephanie's bodies. It's unclear if Matthew's memory of what he did came back, or more likely, if he'd been lying about not remembering all along. He described the spot to officers where he dumped the bodies, hidden in the Kokosing Wildlife Area. As the detectives traveled through fields to a wooded area, other officers secured the perimeter. They eventually found a hollow beech tree that matched Matthew's description, which had a hole about 6 feet up from the ground. There was also a second larger hole near the branches. When an officer looked inside the hole, they spotted what looked like trash bags hidden inside the tree. Another hole was cut in the tree and the trash bags were examined, revealing remains belonging to Tina Herman, Cody Maynard, Stephanie Sprang, and Tanner the dog. Matthew later revealed he got the bodies inside the tree using the top hole and a rig and pulley system to drop them inside. There's some speculation that when Matthew worked as a tree trimmer, he had hollowed out the tree himself. On January 6, 2011, Matthew avoided the death penalty by pleading guilty to 10 felonies. After everything that was found, it was clear that Matthew had a bizarre obsession with leaves. Forensic psychologists testified that his leaf obsession was delusional, and they believed that he may have hidden the bodies inside of a tree because it was familiar and comforting to him. Matthew Hoffman was then sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. That same month, his leaf-filled home went into foreclosure, and eventually the tree where the bodies had been hidden was cut down.
Wow.
I knew the whole time. I was just waiting for him to shut the fuck up. Because I'm like, y'all keep interviewing him, trying to coddle him. He's playing a game. He was playing the game the whole time. It was just, it's going to be nice to him. Man, shut the fuck, man.
I think for some people, they use like the different tactics to try to get them.
I know.
To feel comfortable.
I know, but fuck all that, bro. And he was trying to leverage his way because he did not want the death penalty. He was trying to first off try to play crazy. Trying to play crazy, see if he could get himself out of it. He realized, all right, that shit ain't gonna work. What I can get out of this shit. Even he's wanna, can you just kill me? That's part of the plan.
Yeah.
He's trying to get y'all to buy into his whole mindset thing. He didn't want y'all to do that either. That's not what he wanted. He wanted to fake it that he was mentally and try to get an insanity plea. Then he realized, oh, I ain't trying to be injected for the rest of my life. But also, I don't want the death penalty. Bargaining, I'm going to plead guilty so I don't get the death penalty. Sick ass individual. And do I believe the story of him just randomly burglarizing the home? No.
Cause I'm like, you could have like
simply. Didn't they say he had photos of Sarah?
He had photos. I never.
He stalked the daughter because what makes you kill everybody and keep her alive? It's the fact that was your target because she also was assaulted.
Yep.
That was your intended target this whole time.
Yep. Because I'm like, if it was just for you to rob when they came home, you could have ran out of a back door. You could have ran past them out the front door. What, like, you say you don't know them, they don't know you. Like, you
stalked them. You stalked Sarah because
you had other options, bro.
Your mom was down the street. You have seen her before. Yeah. You found out where she stayed. You watched. See when. That's crazy, bro. And even the premeditation of the possibility of him hollowing out the tree. And even knowing the location of the tree. Because that's a random tree in the woods. How would you even know that tree was hollowed like that?
Even the statement...
It's a possibility he hollowed it out.
Even the statement that was made that they usually keep their they usually keep their door ajar. How would you even know that if the first time ever like staking out the house was the night before? Like, it seemed like this was probably like a continuous thing that you did like throughout a periodic.
That was 100% premeditated. I don't think he expected to run into Tina because he probably had watched the pattern. Mm-hmm. He probably thought Tina was going to be at work. He expected to ambush the daughter when she got home and kidnap the daughter. Mm-hmm. He didn't plan on attacking and killing Tina and Stephanie. They scared him. He panicked and he killed them. Yeah. But the whole time, the target was Sarah. Mm-hmm. That was the main target. He was waiting for her to get home.
Yeah.
That's when Tina and Stephanie showed back up to the house early. Because he had been watching and that Wednesday, he also wasn't expecting a dude. He probably was listening to conversation. People hide. They listen to conversation. He went, boy, that's scary.
Very much so.
That is scary, bro.
But definitely rest in peace to Tina, Cody, and Stephanie, and the dog Tanner. Somebody, because he won't stop barking. Like, shoot, I won't stop barking. Like,
duh.
Huh?
You in a place you weren't supposed to be.
And my heart goes out to Sarah because my goodness,
And she can have survivor's guilt. It's a lot.
That's so much mentally, emotionally, physically, everything.
I don't have no family anymore.
Went through a lot within a day or two span, and that's
my mom and brother.
For some people,
gone.
that's a lifetime of trauma.
Yeah, because honestly, she was 12 at the time.
She was 13 at the time.
13. Her brother was 10.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think about it. You keep those memories.
Yeah.
That's embedded to you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Some people deal with survivor's guilt. Some people want to know why she's not getting the answers that she's going to ever need and receive. And she's going to have those, even the memories of the details that doesn't get out there. She knows.
Yeah.
She knows what you told her. She probably knew this whole time he's lying.
Yeah. Yeah.
They try to play crazy.
And I will.
I'm so over this shit before halfway through.
And I do appreciate Valerie, the manager, because some managers don't allow you to show up to work, whatever. They don't do it. They may call you once, you don't answer. It is what it is. But like she was very persistent on like trying to see what was going on because it was out of Tina's, care to not show up at work.
I had a situation like that when I was in college that I didn't show up for work because I had overslept.
Mm-hmm.
And they were blowing me the fuck up. They was like, we was getting ready to call because that's out of your character.
And that's what I'm saying.
And you appreciate
you have those managers that
pay
are
attention
like that
to those
and you
patterns.
appreciate them, but you do have some managers that don't care.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But y'all spam us up. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts about it for us in the comment section down below. But until next time, y'all know how I go, man. I do go by the name DJ New Kid. This is
Sierra Nicole.
We are.
Kid and C.
We out.
Ain't no time to kick it, gotta stack a flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money low, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.